Hi there, welcome to the Timesaver 3 routine. So all you'll need for this routine today is your mat, a block or a pillow if you need a little bit of head support, always a bottle of water. So enjoy this routine, and your first position is just laying down on your mat. Make sure you lay your spine down nice and flat. As you come down, the very first thing that we check is check your alignment on your mat, and a little check in with how you're feeling settling down there on the mat. Nice connection to the feet on the floor. Let's do our Pilates breathing to start to relax us. So nice in-breath through the nose and breathing out, exhaling through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. So continue on with your breathing there as I add a few more cues. So just taking a moment to run a mental scan through the whole body just to see how your body's feeling today, how it feels on the mat. Remember, our Pilates breathing's full breaths in, expanding wide out to the rib cage. And now we're going to bring some awareness to our pelvic floor, abdominal zip. So just drawing inwards and upwards from the pelvic floor. Remember that drawing in is all internal. So our breath to core connection. Breathing out, finding your pelvic floor zip, getting a sense of drawing up from pubic bone to belly button, just drawing in. As you continue your breath to core connection. Remember that this is an internal feeling. So check that you're not overworking the breath to core connection. So no butt gripping, body's relaxed. Your palms can be upwards or downwards, but always just softness around the neck and shoulders. So our first movement today is a couple of pelvic tilts. On your next out breath, just draw your hips up towards your ribs and you're just flattening your spine into the mat. So that's called your imprint. And breathe in, go back to your neutral position, which is a little arch in your back. Breathe out as you tilt, flattening your back. Breathe in, back to neutral. And we'll just do two more little tilts or imprints. Hips towards the ribs, hips away from the ribs. This is the most amazing little movement if you've got a stiff back, sore back. It's one of the go-tos if you've got back problems. So we always want to mobilize the spine before we create movement. Last one there, tilt or imprint. Then we're coming back to neutral. We're going to take our tilt up into our good old pelvic curl. We always teach pelvic curl, well I do anyway. So for that one you have no head block, unless you feel that you need a little bit of support. But let's go back to our arms and our shoulders. Let's press the backs of the shoulders into the mat. So you're stabilizing there. Into pelvic curl now, breath in. On the breath out, you're taking a little tilt. You're peeling your spine off the mat as you lift your hips. You're keeping your shoulder pressed, breath in. And on the breath out, you're peeling the spine down, one vertebrae at a time. Like a banana peeling up and down. Breathe in, back to neutral. Breathe out, tilt. Press the feet, peel the spine up, shoulder press, press into your feet, stretch your hips, breath in, and breathe out, peeling down one vertebrae at a time. So really taking some time to explore the articulation of the spine. Breathe in, back to neutral, and breathe out, tilt, lifting, breath in, and breathe out, peeling down one vertebrae at a time. So you can do two more of those. You can work on about 6. If you're a little bit faster than me, you could do 8. But this is a nice mindful movement practice. So we want to really explore our bodies. But some people definitely breathe a bit faster than me. And because I'm teaching, I slow it right down so that we can really make use of every distinction of the movement. there. Come back to your neutral pelvis and settle down into that position there. So about 6 of those. I'm going to take my head block back. If you like your pillow, grab yours. And just do a little sway through the knees. Next position is that our next movement is we're going to do our ab press. Now ab press can always be done with one foot on the floor, but today we're going to bring both knees to tabletop position. So breath in, and on the breath out, float one knee at a time to tabletop position. So in this position can be very challenging for some people. So if you need to have a rescue, you just bring your hands on your knees, rock side to side, and there's a nice spine massage for you. So we're going to come back to our tabletop position. You're going to take both palms and press them on the front of your thighs. Breath in, prepare, and breathe out as you press your palms into your thighs. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out, press. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out, press. Great abdominal exercise, this one. Make sure that you're not pressing from your neck and shoulders. You tuck your elbows down the side and just really subtly press. So in all of our Pilates, we want to not overwork any position. Just keep it soft and find the work that you need in your pelvic floor abdominals there. And 2 more, press and press. And you'll notice that when I'm doing this, nothing moves. So often in class, I'll see you like this sort of press. Okay, that's not stabilizing. The stabilizing where there's nothing moving at all. Let's go to our rest position, knees on the chest, little rock side to side. So let's take our ab press into our obliques. Now, if you have any sort of sore backs, you can always keep one foot on the floor. In fact, let's do that for now. You're going to take your right foot down. Keep the left knee to tabletop. One hand on top of the other and go to the left thigh and press. Breathe in, Pilates, pelvic floor zip, press. Breathe in, breathe out, press. And 2 more, press. And press. And let's take that foot down, bring the other foot up, breath in, breathe out, bring the other foot up and press. And press. And 3, and 2, and 1, and relax, foot back to the floor. So that's your ab press obliques. We're going to go back just briefly to our pelvic curls again. So block away, head press. Just want to do a little add-on just to mobilize the shoulders a bit more. Little shoulder press for now. Feet connection to floor. Let's tilt the pelvis, peel up your hips. Now hold your pelvic curl up. Press the backs of the arms into the shoulders. Now need really good feet connection. Feet, hamstrings, glutes here to keep those hips up. You're going to just float your hands straight above your chest there. We're going to do a little scissor here. So we've removed our base of support here. So breathe in, open your arms into a scissor. Breathe out, back to start. Breathe in, open your other direction. Breathe out, back to start. Continue there. If you find that there's too much instability, you'll bring your arms back down and do a couple more pelvic curls. Otherwise, breathe in, open, breathe out to start, breathe in, open, breathe out, back to start. 2 more each direction. So you'll always find in all of my routines that I always like to give you lots of options. Okay, so that's a regression option if you need to soften it. Breathe in, open, breathe out, back to start, and 1 more. And you'll find that we always, Pilates instructors always say just 1 more or just 2 more. You think you're going to finish and then we add another one. Lower the arms down, shoulder press, breath in, and on the breath out, let's peel down 1 vertebrae at a time. Coming back to your neutral position, and I'm going to take my trusty head block back. And from here, let's bring the knees and the ankles together. And we're just going to drop the knees over to one side into a little spine twist. Now, if your back's a little bit sore, you may need to separate your knees a little bit there. If you want to increase that stretch, you can bring the knees up a bit higher. You can put the hand on the top knee and draw it down away. So there's your little adjustments there. You can also take the knees slightly apart. We just want to stretch that lumbar Lumbar's your lower back there. And just breathe in, soften. There should be no tension in your neck. Now to transition to the other side, we're just going to pick up one knee, bring the other knee up, all the way over to the other side. A couple of nice breaths here. Now look, not everybody needs a head block, but I definitely have some neck issues, so I've always got to have a supportive neck block. This arm's just relaxed to the side. Let's do another big breath there. So this is just our little spine twist. And then one knee at a time back to center. 1 foot at a time down. Adjust yourself so you're nice and straight on the mat again. We're going to do what's called our knee tags. Knee tags is about stabilizing the pelvis. So here in our level 1 Pilates, that's our first primary goal, is to learn how to stabilize, to connect the core so that it sets us up for our stronger work later. So feet in line with the hips. You're going to take your right knee and you're just going to draw it out to the side 45 degrees. Breath in. And breathe out, bring it back to start. So it's just this little pendulum. Breathe in as the knee drops out to the side. Breathe out, back to start. Keep going there. I've got my fingers on my opposite hip bone. This helps give us feedback for the stability of the pelvis. So that's our job. Keep the pelvis still. So we're not flopping around in that knee tag. You're stabilizing your pelvis. One more, breathe in. Breathe out, transition to the other side. Left knee, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. You may not need that feedback. And 2 more, breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Just back to center anytime you want a nice knee sway. We're going to do what's called our hundreds prep, setting us up for when we get a little bit stronger. Let's tummy zip, breath in, float one knee at a time to tabletop position. Just need to adjust my microphone. Okay, reach your arms long past your hips there. As you reach your arms long, you should feel the shoulder blades press onto the mat. Create energy there. You're going to start this little pumping action. Shh, 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 shh. That's called a pulse breath. So continue there, but keep reaching. So all the time you're doing this, you're creating energy. And some people really go really fast with hundreds. So you find your pace. I tend to not teach Pilates very fast myself. I like the more slow, mindful movement there. But you find your pace. It is about creating blood flow. And true hundreds counts to 100. But we're just going to wind up with a few more sets. Reach those arms longer and let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll pause, hands on knees, little rock side to side. So that's our prep. Now next one, we're going to lift your upper body. Now if you've got any neck issues, you're not to do that. I've already showed you how to keep your shoulders down. Let's go again. Reach your arms past your hips, breath in, breathe out, lift your upper body so your eyes are just looking at your knees, and let's go pump. And pump, 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 pump. And let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You keep going. I just have to slow my movement down. Let's go. And keep going there. Remember your regressions if you need to. I'll lower your shoulders down. And we're going to do another 2 sets. Shoulders down or shoulders up. And last set of 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing, lower down, hands on knees. Big warning now, you'll probably hear me say it over and over. I'm a terrible counter. It's not something that I've mastered very well in Pilates. Some teachers are so precise if they're counting. I usually add a little bit extra on. So just think of it as a bonus couple of reps, but always listen to your body, always take your rest. Listen to what's going on for you. This is your practice, your individual practice. Going to introduce you to bicycle here. Going to take left foot down onto the floor. Let's bring the right knee to tabletop. Draw the toe up to the shin. I just want you to push through the heel, reach. Really stretch that leg now. Drag the heel back towards the bottom. So we're creating resistance and energy. Breathe in, breathe out as you push through the heel and drag that heel back towards the bottom. Breathe in, push, lower, drag. So this small control movement has got a lot of power when we lengthen through the heel. Push, drag. I'm going to give you a couple of options here. Push, drag, and one more there, and reach, push, and drag that heel back and lower the foot. Let's go to the other leg. Breathe in, reach through that left heel, lower, drag. Breathe in, drive the heel up, lower, drag. Out breath. Breathe in, breathe out, lower, drag the heel back. Breathe in, lift, and breathe out, lower, drag. Sometimes I get caught up in the enjoyment of the moment. Breathe in and reach and lower and drag and take that foot to the floor. Small sway through the knees. I have to tell you, I love mat work. I absolutely love mat work. I'm really happy to be back teaching more of that in this academy. In my Pilates studio, it's so much equipment, which I love as well, but just something about the mats. Where I started Pilates, it's a beautiful practice. So thank you for allowing me to share that little moment with you. Let's float both knees to tabletop. And look, I've given you the one-legged version. This is our tabletop version, slightly different. Draw the toes up to the shins, bicycle, breathe out, push and drag. Now I've made these circles smaller. Push, drag. So we're creating our own resistance here. Push, drag, push and drag. Now, for those of you that want a little bit extra challenge, you can lift your upper body up. Push, drag. There's so many ways that we can do our Pilates. Push and drag. Push and drag. So either shoulders raised or shoulders lowered. Choices. Push. And let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And guess what? We're reversing. Push, drag, push, drag. Breathe out to push, push, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees to tabletop, rest position, rock side to side. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of abdominal warm up. Now we're going to come to seated position. So in any way that suits you, we can roll up into a little ball, coming up. So we're going to do our spine stretch now. So I like to, because of my tight back, I've got to sit on a block, absolutely. So there's me propping myself up. How do we know if we need a block? Look, it all comes down to, well, obviously comfort is always a first factor, but ultimately we want to be in Pilates in a neutral position. So that means sitting tall on the sit bone. So if my back, if I didn't have this block, it would pull my pelvis back and I'd sit in this really slouchy position. So this just helps me sit tall up onto the sit bone there. So we're going to do a little spine stretch. In fact, I'll need to sit back a little bit more. Yep. Okay, so I can straighten my legs. Now, if your hamstrings are a little bit tight, it's hard to straighten your legs, okay? So it's okay to have soft, bendy knees here. Working tall through the spine. Just float the arms at the front and shrug the shoulders back. And it's just breath in tall and breath out chin to chest. It's like you've got the fit ball there and you're going up and over, lengthening through the crown of the head. Breathe in, restack, and breathe out, up and over. While you continue there, I'm changing positions. Breathe in, restack. This might be a better position for you to see. Breathe out as you go up and over. So there's my tall spine. And up and over. So I can still drive out through my heels. Breathe in, restack. Breathe out, up and over. Spine stretch. Breathe in, restack. Keep going there. So you have choices. You can point through the toes, flex through the feet. I like to do both. I definitely have a preference for drawing and flexing up because you get that stretch through the back line there. Let's do 2 more spine stretches. Breathe in tall, breathe out, chin over chest. Breathe in, restack the spine and up and over. Breathe in, restack. Guess what? Adding on, you're going to do 1 more. Breathe out, up and over. And then sitting tall, shoulder rolls. Let's just have a tiny little side twist in this position. Let's cross our legs up here for a moment. Sitting nice and tall, and let's just do a tiny side twist. So you're just taking your hands to the side. Watch you not dropping the chin. Stay nice and tall through the crown of the head. Let's just float the arms around to the other side. Small twist. One more each side. Last little twist coming up. And rotate. And back to start. So we're going to go into a side lying position. The side lying position options. So let's go for the first one is you either rest your head on your bicep or your arms nice and long. You can use your block or you can bend that bottom arm. This is my go-to. I love the bottom arm bend. Okay, so the bottom leg's going to be bent, the top leg's going to be long. Now just for the moment, put your hand on the top hip and reach that leg super long, or reach the hip away from the rib. So ideally we're not collapsed down the bottom waist. We're not slouching. We're working long through the top hip. You're going to notice that my toe and my knee are sort of slightly hanging downwards there. And I'm really working length through my hip. I'm going to do these tiny little leg circles. And we're just circling. Use your Pilates breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, circle. Just like we're stirring that thigh bone as it would be a spoon in a cup of coffee. We want to work through the hip circumductors nice and evenly. So we're not up high trying to circle. It's straight through that line. And 3, 2, and 1. And pause and circle the other way. Circle, circle. I'm having way too much fun here. And I have to remember this is the Timesaver routine. So I won't do any little sneaky add-ons like I'm very well known for doing. And let's go 3, 2, and 1. And relax that leg down. A little bit of hip and glute work. So the knees are stacked. The hips are stacked. We're going to do some clock openings here. So the arms to the front. Now we need to always support the neck. So often I see the neck hanging in space in classes. We don't want that. Make sure you're well supported here. Watch your shoulder if you've got any shoulder issues. I'm going to give you this little pigeon wing option. Okay, you can work through a small range like that if you want. Okay, but today I'm teaching clock circles. So arm to the front. Breathe in as you reach that arm up and over your head, and you're going to rotate back through the mid-back into a big circle arm. Take it all the way to the front past the hip. It's called clock circles. Breathe in as you reach up and around. Back to start. And we're going to do one more, 3 each direction. This is my tight shoulder, so I'm not getting very good range there at all. Reverse, let's lower. Breathe in and breathe out, reaching all the way around. And 2 more like that. Use your breath in your core. And breathe out. 1 more circle coming up, losing my top there. And circle all the way around. Nice work for the thoracic and nice shoulder positioning. So now we need to go around onto the other side and do the same on the other side. So side lying position, hips stacked, shoulders stacked. Our bottom leg was bent. Our top leg is long. Remember, we worked the length there. Super, super long, and little circles. And 3, 2, 1, pause. Let's circle the other direction. And 3, 2, and 1. Bend the knee in. Ready for our clock circles on this direction. Arms straight out the front. Breathe in as you take that arm up over the top of the head. Breathe out. Big circle round behind you. Coming past the hip. Breathe in. Over the head, breathe out, big circles. Really just close your eyes and check in how that feels for you. Use your breath, breathe in, breathe out, rotate, round to back to start. Ready to pause and reverse the other direction. Breathe in, lower the arm, breathe out, big circle up and over. 2 more like that. Breathe in, breathe out, circle. And you've got 1 more coming up. Breathe in, breathe out, circle around. And that's your side lying. Okay, so we're going to go into our prone position. Prone position is on your stomach. You're going to take your arms into our cactus arms position. So that's elbows to the side of your shoulders. And just for now, rest the head down. Now you want to anchor your pubic bone and hips into the mat. So you want good connection there. There's a little drawing back of your shoulders. Just going to breathe in and lift your upper body. And depends on your neck. I'm looking towards the front of my mat. But we've got to be careful not to hyperextend the neck. That's bad for the neck. So find your longest neck and breathe out to lower. We'll do 8 of those. Breathe in, lift, and breathe out, lower. This is our best postural work that we can do here. Breathe in, lift, and breathe out, lower. Now keep your pubic bone anchored. Breathe in, lift. Now some people get a bit of a back ache from back extension. A couple of things here. It's about the pelvic floor abdominal zip. Breathe in, lift, and breathe out, lower. So we want to make sure just below our belly button, our tummy is zipping away from the floor. Breathe in, lift. It may be that you don't lift so high, you just do a tiny little lift. Let's do 2 more of those. So it's always about length through the crown of the head, not about how high up we lift. Okay, so it's very important to learn the distinctions of our back extension. Let's do 1 more coming up. Breathe in, lift, and breathe out, lower. Now you're going to take your hands under your shoulders. You're going to push yourself back into your rest position. So your rest position's your bottom on your heels. Now you can take your arms nice and long. Now depending on your back and hips, it's knees together or knees apart. My position's always knees apart because of my tight back and hips. And you can also use a block if you feel you need support. Otherwise you can reach those arms long and drop the head. Couple of nice relaxing breaths here. You can push into the hands and push your bottom back if you want to, or just stay and calmly relax. So we're heading towards the end of the routine now. Let's do 1 more breath here. And just before we finished, I'm going to do a couple more stretches. So come over onto your back once more and teach you a little hamstring stretch. So we can use all sorts of straps and things to do this stretch, but today we're just going to have no equipment. Let's bring your left knee to the ceiling, take the hand behind that leg and reach that heel to ceiling. Now I want you just to breathe through that stretch. Now if your back is a little bit sore, you would keep your other leg bent as I have it, foot on the floor, or you can stretch long through that leg. And that will also give you a little bit of a hip stretch there. So let's just breathe and relax. Breath in on the breath out, reach that heel to ceiling, see if you can get a little bit more length out of it. Got a bit of a shake up today, my hamstring's very tight. Breathing in, breathe out. So at home you could be just holding that stretch, focusing on the core engagement. We can also bend that knee and reach. So there's an option. Both are great ways to stretch the hamstrings. Let's just hold for 1 more breath. And I'm going to soften that knee, extend that leg away. Let's bring the other one up. Not so tight on this side for me. Breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. Bend and reach. Bend and reach. And last one, bend and reach. One more little thing to do before we wind up. It's over onto our hands and knees. So in your hands and knees position, I always cue the best position is to really spread the hands. This helps distribute the weight through the wrists. Now, if you've got some wrist issues, you might need to adjust. I'm always in a fist position because of my wrist issues, but just know that that's the strongest position if that's good for you. So the wrists are going directly under the shoulders, the knees are directly under the hips. Some days I'm good for this, some days I'm not. Long from crown of the head to the bottom. Breath in. On the breath out, tuck the pelvis, arch your spine and your eyes look up at your tummy. Breathe in, back to your neutral spine, it's long. Breathe out as you arch, eyes look up. Breathe in, back to your neutral. We'll do 4 more of those. Breathe out, arch. Breathe in. So it's your abdominals that are driving this. No tension in the neck and shoulders. And here comes your last one. And take your big cat arch now. Reach your navel to the ceiling, and from that position with your arched spine, reach your bottom back to your heels. Another rest position with a little bit more stretch. Reach the arms long or rest your head on your hands. And let's just have 2 more breaths here. Slowly curl the spine up, restacking, and I hope you've enjoyed your routine today. Have an awesome day. See you in the next routine.